I've got a gas mask, yeah.
I had the 30-second gas mask and I just wasted it. So
I hate this.
Why? There's a me, man. What has sat there and thought, I wonder if the stim glitch works again?
But the thing is, wait, didn't they have it so that people took more damage than the gas? Is that not working then? So that's just not true. It's simply not true, is it?
Death.
They actually brought back the stim glitch. Warzone Season 2 Reloaded. There was so much promise, so much potential. Things genuinely could have improved for the game and ended up in a bad place, and I think that's what most of us were hoping for. Whether that was a weapon rebalancing, general optimization, or whatever happened to come for the game, we were all kind of hopeful that Season 2 Reloaded would give us some answers. And, well, the polar opposite of that happened today, and I want to talk about it. At this point, I'm beyond being angry about it, I'm beyond being mad about it. I'm just downright disappointed. Bearing in mind, this patch was in and around the region of 133 gigabytes if you owned Warzone, as well as Modern Warfare. And, well, today I played with Westy, Jack, and Stod, the usual crew, the guys you're always used to. And it couldn't be any more downhill if they humanly tried. There's so much wrong with this update, so many issues, and I don't really like being negative on this channel. I try to avoid it at this point, but it's inexcusable what has happened here in the Season 2 update. So we're going to go through it one by one, and we're going to start with the rebalances. It didn't happen. They didn't rebalance any of the weapons. They've messed around with all of the attachments in the game again, and didn't even post those in the patch notes. There are some attachments now, for example, like fast mags that allegedly slow down ADS speed, but don't seemingly do all that much. So they did a bunch of random stealth changes to attachments and other various issues here and there. But there was no changes to the FFAR, nothing to the MAC-10, and absolutely nothing to the AUG. So they added a tiny bit of recoil to the AUG, which honestly, having used it pre and post patch, doesn't feel like they've done anything with it. The FFAR is basically identical, so the meta hasn't been changed at all. It's almost identical, and if for some reason you do feel the recoil on the AUG, you can just switch to the M16 anyway. Oh, and I should mention as well, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it does, because the stim glitch has returned. We don't necessarily actually know if it's 100% the stim glitch or some kind of redeployment glitch, but whatever it happens to be, myself, Jack, Stod, and Westy, we're in the final circle. It got smaller, smaller, and smaller, and we died, and somebody who was all the way about 400 meters away won, who was in the gas for probably about 10 minutes, give or take, based on the overall game timer. They've also added another few things that just make no sense. The big one for me at the moment is buyable foresight. So if you have $20,000 in Warzone now, you can go to any bunker that features a zombie machine where you can purchase things from it. So any of the previous bunkers count, where the rocket silos are count, and you can now purchase foresight for $20,000 and know the final circle of the zone before anybody else. Truly, I can't even begin to understand this change or begin to comprehend who at Raven thought this was a good idea. But effectively now, if you want to win a game of Warzone, it's really easy. Just get in a helicopter, find 20k, quickly buy foresight, and sit in the final circle for the whole game. I should specify what I'm talking about here happened within 5 games. We played 5 games of regular Verdansk today. We had one stim glitch. We bought foresight for ourselves. We also tried out the new bombardment, which fortunately, thank God, only comes in on the zombie area and not on the entire map, or isn't call-inable. There's also a equipment bug, which has pre-existed for a while now, that we encountered. The money bug, which has been in the game for quite some time now, which we re-encountered. And also the kill streak bug, where you can't call in a kill streak, so you couldn't drop your cash, you couldn't call in a kill streak, you couldn't use equipment. There was an inventory glitch as well, where money gets stuck. It's truly reached, you know, questionable levels of what I can only describe as poor behavior from Raven Software. You know, to reintroduce another bug into the game where somebody can win the game in the gas is utterly insane. To not change any of the meta in the game is beyond mind-blowing. And not to mention the fact that they changed various attachments without listing it at all. And another fun thing that they did is they added the RCXD in the store, except the RCXD can't go upstairs in Warzone. And also, another major issue with it is they placed it below the loadout drop rather than placing it at the equivalent space of the cluster strike, which is also $3,000. So if you immediately out of muscle memory go straight to the bottom, you will accidentally buy an RCXD instead of a loadout drop. Honestly, again, look, you know, these are all the issues we encountered in 4 or 5 various different games here today. And, you know, it's just we've reached breaking point on Warzone now. Warzone has now reached a point in the game where the development cycle of the game is almost embarrassing. Not only mentioning the fact that these guys have reintroduced glitches into the game that constantly seem to come back and they can't seem to fix whatsoever, but we also have other issues as well, like, you know, these pre-existing bugs that they just haven't gotten rid of. And I'm convinced at this point that they just must not play the game, because there is not a single person who plays Warzone who thought to themselves that the Fafar or Org were in a good place. The meta of the game is in a terrible place right now, where the Fafar is better than every single SMG in the game, and the Org effectively kills you before you have time to react. Bearing in mind, Warzone still uses 10 or 20 Hz servers, which means in 2 bursts, you actually won't receive the bullet damage before you die. So you effectively die instantly, and you don't really see the damage that's been done. I know this entire video so far has been a bit of a ramble, but I think what I'm just getting at here is this is embarrassing. We've reached a point with Warzone now, a game which is bigger than Black Ops Cold War, bigger than Modern Warfare, a game that is fundamentally larger than Call of Duty as a franchise itself, is being steadily destroyed and steadily ruined bit by every single update. And it's embarrassing because these are issues that have pre-existed in the game for a long time, or issues that they find ways to reintroduce into the game, which again is beyond me. I don't know how they managed to do that. And the fact that they just downright ignore the meta of the game. You know, they don't nerf the Org, they don't nerf the Fafar. And the fact that they did a slight recoil increase on the Org basically says to me that there was a conscious decision there to not touch the Org or Fafar and to leave them as they were. Probably because they're selling lots of skins of them, to be honest with you. I don't know whether or not it's just simply a case of Raven Software doesn't have enough staff, or they're struggling to keep up with Warzone, or the development team isn't large enough, or perhaps isn't talented enough. But whatever it is at the moment, this game is reaching breaking point. This game is probably going to start hemorrhaging players pretty quickly. And yeah, you know, Battlefield 6 is around the corner, so yeah, sure, they got a couple of months before Battlefield 6 steals the thunder. But I can see many people, including myself, just not coming back to Warzone, just not playing it. I was thinking about streaming Warzone again this week, and I was just like, you know, if you encounter a stim glitch, if you encounter a bug, if you encounter cheaters, the number of underlying issues that exist in Warzone now are multiplying exponentially, and every update seems to increase that list rather than decrease it and make the state of the game significantly worse. I know for a fact that the guys I play with, Jack, Westy, Stud, we're all just tired of it at this point. You know, we can talk about it regularly in update videos and stuff, but there's just nothing out right now. Unless you have any other first-person shooters that come to the market, it's really difficult for us to transition and try other things because Warzone is the only one there. And when Warzone is good, Warzone's great. When you have a good game of Warzone, it's one of the best games there is on the market in terms of a battle royale. The end of Season 6 especially, just before the Cold War integration, was a really good time for the game that I enjoyed quite significantly. And it's just all coming apart at the seams, and it's negligent. It's almost as though they've abandoned Warzone in many ways. They just don't care anymore. But at this point, I can see this game not being around for much longer. Anywho, folks, that's about it for this update video. The gameplay in the background was just sort of thrown in there. I just wasn't trying to tell a story or win a game. I just wanted you guys to see some of the shenanigans that we encountered today. But thank you as always. Thank you for the like. Thank you for the sub if you happen to join us today. And I'll see you again in the next video.